What's happening, guys? Kenny here again, and today I've got another On My Mind video, and what I'm going to be talking about today is custom knife makers and where they are going these days. Sorry for touching the camera. And what the issues I'm having with trying to actually get a custom knife myself, or should I say an upper end, like, it's hard to call them custom knives these days, guys. In saying that, I kind of want to get right into this. I'm going to try and make this relatively short. I know that's very hard for me to do sometimes. So I'm going to try and get right into this. If you guys remember last year, I did have some dealings with like Ferrum Forge, and I was really wanting to try and get a custom from them, and they don't do customs anymore. You know, they're focusing on a lot of the production stuff and like just dealing with that, and then occasionally they'll make a run of knives, but they're not really making customs anymore. And also we know that after the whole fiasco, the HRC fiasco this year, not likely going to be ordering any Ferrum Forge knives, at least me personally. So yeah, in saying that, there were other makers that I tried to get in with this year. I really did try to get myself some custom knives. I was trying to just see what it was like, you know. I just wanted to handle some. I wanted to get some just to see if it was for me, you know what I mean? Because you know, sometimes it's for somebody, sometimes a production knife is more for people, as far as the price, their uses and stuff like that. If you don't use your knives a lot, it's really not that important to get a custom knife, you know what I mean? If it's just going in and out of your pocket, you flip it, you put it back in your pocket, or if it's like a safe queen or something like that. Having a custom heat treat, custom scales, you know, custom everything, it's still, you know, it's all perspective, and you know, still people might enjoy just having something custom made for them. But in saying that, that requires it being custom made for you. The word custom comes from the word customer, guys. You know, it's like, I've tried multiple times to get in contact with a custom maker in order to have them make a knife for me, specifically what I want. It is still going to be within their range because I'm looking to that custom maker for one of their knives. So it's still going to be one of their models, in the materials they use. I just want it specifically made to my specification. So whether I want this steel or that steel, or at this HRC or that HRC, or I want micarta inlays, or I want titanium with micarta, you know, like I just want it made specifically for me the way I want it made. And I had a really hard time getting somebody to make me a knife. It's kind of crazy to me. I'm not gonna name names here because I don't want to like bring bad publicity to any of these makers or anything like that. And I'm not even like bitching, really. I'm just trying to clarify what it means to be a custom maker. I think what's happening in this this community right now is more, it's not custom makers, it's more like handcrafted knives, because again, the word custom requires your customer asking for something specific and you making it. It's essentially like you're being commissioned to make a knife for them. That's what a custom is. So I think that word gets thrown around too much in this community right now, and those makers are not custom makers. They're making handmade, hand-finished knives. Not even handmade in some cases. A lot of it's just done on a CNC or a mill, and then, you know, well, a mill's still technically handmade because they're having to lower the blade, lower the cutting apparatus and everything. So, anyways, I'm not going to get into the logistics of it all, but it's still technically like hand finished and like, you know, like articulated to a specification, but it's not custom for a person. A lot of these makers are just making knives, throwing them up on Instagram, and whoever's there at that moment and ready to spend whatever the knife is gets the knife. Now that's all fine. You know, I get it. There's a lot of demand out there for some of these makers, and so that's their way of like making it equal, I guess, or like making it fair. But there's something about that just you just lose that the connection to the maker and what you wanted to the knife that you want. You lose a connection. So I did manage to get my hands on one custom this year. And the reason that I actually ordered this custom is because I could tell the maker exactly what I wanted. He took it was within one of his knife designs. You know, it was his knife design. I just said, I want this handle material. I want this color handle material from what he had available. I want the knife ground this way in this steel, you know, and of course at this hardness within his comfort level of hardening that steel. So that custom knife happens to be a Case Knives Switzerland Shard is the name of this model, and it's in Vacron Super Clean Super Steel, which is actually a very, very rare steel at this point. You guys will see that Sean, Big Brown Bear, has made a knife in this. Him and Roman are probably two of the only makers I know making knives in this steel. Although I did have a sub that told me that he had a knife, in fact, in Vacron. So I don't know who made that knife or anything, but what I'll say is Roman worked with me. He took what I wanted, and then at first he was even almost reluctant. Like he was like, I don't really want to grind it that thin. It's kind of dangerous to give a knife to a customer that thin, but it's what I wanted. So essentially, if that's what I'm asking for, and he feels comfortable enough to go ahead and try it, and he does, you know what? Roman, even at the end of making the knife, was like, I want to keep this thing. So taking what I wanted and going out of his comfort level to do that actually pushed him to a level where now he knows he can do that. He actually liked the result and wanted to keep the knife that he made due to it. So this is what I'm trying to say is it may have been a little bit out of his comfort level, but the fact that he went for it, and part of that's due to the fact that he's young and still has an open mind to what somebody else might want. A lot of these makers are older and they've kind of been set in their ways and they just don't want to fall out of that comfort level, it's a good way to become stagnant, in my opinion, guys. But yeah, so Roman went ahead and did what I asked. He actually enjoyed doing what I asked, and in the end, it probably opened his eyes to maybe doing some of that more so in the future. So in saying that, I could not be happier with my knife from Roman, and his attention to detail was absolutely spectacular. The knife was beautiful, and it performs excellently. Now, there were probably about 4 or 5 other makers that I tried to get in contact with and ask them specifically if they would be able to make a knife to my specification. I offered to pay down payments that are like, you know, something I couldn't get back if I decided to back out of it. You know, I offered to do down payments so that they knew I was ready to do it. You guys know I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to back out on a knife, even if it didn't come out exactly how I had, you know, thought it would. So in saying that, it was really frustrating for me that I couldn't get a custom maker to make me a custom knife. That's kind of frustrating, guys, and I think that's an issue. It makes me want to make knives even more because I think that it's kind of lost. I understand that some of these makers feel like that's their artistry, is by making the knife they want to make and then let people buy it. That's fine. If that's the way you want to do things, then it's fine. Don't call yourself a custom maker, though, because you're not making customs. You're making, you know, hand-finished knives. You're making handmade knives. You're not making customs, guys. Customs requires, you know, some commission work, something from a customer. So it's kind of like getting it's just a very murky water right now in the community. So Guys, I've been really wanting to talk about this because I was very off put by the fact that I couldn't get someone to make a knife specifically for me. Again, I understand the demand. I understand there's a lot of people out there that want to have you make a knife, and then some people just back out. You know what I mean? Some people decide, oh, I don't want it at the last second. Well, guess what? You're already selling your knives on Instagram in seconds. Why can't you just put that on Instagram at the end? And you'll still get your money out of it. So where's the risk there, really? Because you're already doing that. You're just, unless someone asks you to make, like, I want a knife with balls on it, then maybe then be like, you got to pay for it in full before I even start to make it. I mean, make that an option. If you're so worried about getting stuck with it, or maybe you're worried about someone else getting mad because you made a custom knife for one person and you told another person you couldn't. I don't know where the mentality is. I don't know what the thought process is. So that's why I wanted to do this. If you guys can tell me why this is, if it stems from like custom makers getting burned or something, maybe that's where this all comes from. If it's about the artistry thing, if it's about you being able to make what you want to make, that's kind of ugly, guys. To be honest, I think that's ugly because that's a good way to get stagnant and not ever get any better or ever challenge yourself into making something better. I mean, if someone else is asking for something out of your comfort level, it might just push you over the ledge of trying something out of that comfort, which means you'll probably become a better maker in the end. So, and more well-rounded. So, I'm kind of dumbfounded by the whole thing. And I want to thank Roman, not only for, going along with me and kind of going out of his comfort level to make this knife that turned out to be something spectacular. I'm so grateful to him for that, and also I already have another one. I'm already in line for another case because of the way he wants to work with me and let me choose the steel, let me choose the things that are for me. If I want a thumb stud knife, or I want a flipper, or I want it on bearings, or I want it on bushings, I should be able to choose that. It's my knife. It's going to be my knife. Even though it's your knife as well, you made it, it's still technically going to be owned by the person paying you for your services. So, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Tell me if I'm way off base. I'm not a custom maker, but this is going to push me into that world. You guys know I talked about it. I really haven't had the means. I haven't had the time to even get a lot of the stuff done that I want to do, like the modification stuff that I want to do. So being able to actually make a knife right now, I just don't have the time. I don't have the tools. I don't have the... I just really more about the time, but yeah, and I don't have the space, in my garage. I can't have an open fire in my garage. I don't have a backyard to do it all in if I wanted to. So trying to figure that out, guys. Maybe further in the future, I'll have the option. I'll have something will come up where I'll get the chance to start making knives. But until that happens, it's kind of a far-fetched dream of mine. To just go ahead and make my own because no one wants to make it. So, a little bit ugly in my opinion. I'm look forward to seeing what people think about this. I look forward to I hope some makers can comment back to me. You guys know who I'm talking about because I've already talked to you at some point or another. The whole Instagram thing, you got to buy my knives on Instagram. Dude, I'm not sitting on Instagram waiting for you to drop your knife, okay? I don't have time. I'll be at work. I'll get out of work, I open my Instagram, and I see a knife was for sale and it's already sold. I had no chance to even buy that knife. I like to save for things. I like to know I'm getting something, save money, and then buy it. I can't do that if I'm just waiting for and hoping that you drop a knife when I have the money for it. and that something else doesn't come along that, you know, like I want to grab before that knife is ready. So if I know I'm getting a knife and it's ordered, then I can save my money, pay for the knife. I can even give you half of it down. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with giving you like a quarter, half of it down so that I know it's there, it's ready. Maybe that puts pressure on guys and they don't like that pressure. Okay, then I won't put any money down. And I'm not expecting it by a certain date, but at least I know I can save money and be ready knowing that that knife's gonna be ready at some point within like what, 3 to 6 months. Give me like a 2-month range or something, you know, I'm fine with that. But I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm a little frustrated with this, guys, as you guys can tell, but thanks for watching, guys. I hope this came across the right way and I don't seem like I'm attacking custom makers or anything. Custom makers. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day and Happy New Year. If you hadn't seen any of my other videos, Happy New Year, happy Merry Christmas, and hope you guys are having a great one. Thanks.